to regret the day we met it. So I won't betray the trust we built, so I'll just say, no matter where you are, no matter where you hide, no matter what you've done, my love for you will still abide. You remain my only one. I'll keep a place for you by my side. Whenever you need me, I'll be around. No matter how far, wherever you're found, my love will be waiting, safe and sound. You've nothing to fear, I won't keep you bound. My love's a strong foundation, built on solid ground. No matter where you run, no matter where you hide, no matter what you've done, my love for you will still abide. You remain my only one. I'll keep a place for you by my side. I want you to be happy, even if it isn't with me. I want you to be happy, so I'll set you free. I want you to be happy, one day I hope you'll see. Real love needs no lock and key. I want you to be happy, it isn't love if you are free. No matter where you run, no matter where you hide, no matter what you've done, my love for you will still abide. You remain my only one. I'll keep a place for you by my side. I don't want you to walk away, but I won't force you to stay. I'd rather you be happy, I'd rather you be free, even if it's without me. No lock and key. I want you to be happy, it isn't love if you aren't free. I'd rather you be free, even if it's without me.
Tempted by your devil's kiss, promising unending bliss, drag me into an abyss. Hypnotized by your eyes, desire you can't disguise, seduced by your lies. Tempted by your devil's kiss, the devil's kiss and you. What do I do? I'm addicted to your devil's kiss and you. What do I do? I know I must break free before I lose the best of me. And this living purgatory, tempted by a devil's kiss, promising unending bliss, drag me into abyss. I've got news for you. I'm ready for something new. I know what I've got to do. Goodbye, devil's kiss. I cry abyss. Heartbreaks I won't miss. I know what I've got to do. Goodbye, devil's kiss. I cry abyss. Goodbye, devil's kiss. Goodbye.
That's right. Goodbye to Devil's Kiss. Let's get started. It is time. Let's see. Make sure we can. There we go. We've got our new artwork that we're gonna work on tonight. I have no idea what I'm making. No idea where I'm going to go with it. You're gonna be along for the ride. Buckle up. Let's have fun together. I'm in a saucy mood, so this may be interesting. We shall see where it goes. And so, having said that, let us get our tools in a position where I can actually see them, because it's really hard to draw. Would you stop with the chat, please? Please, just stop. Thank you. All right, there we go. Now I got my tools where I need them. I can actually access them. I have no idea if I will be a solo party today, except for you, Ubi, who have decided to join me on this fabulous journey. But we shall see where we go with this. I have no idea what we're working on. I'm just going to do it. Actually, yeah, I do. I think I'm going to recreate something I had worked on when I was younger. And because of that, I'm going to actually start by dividing our terrain, blocking it out. I was having fun with it earlier, so might as well continue that. Sometimes you just got to take a moment for some joy in life. I had my little granddaughter over today. She was sick, but we managed to have a good time anyway. It did distract me from things I had hoped to get done, but such distractions are part of the price we pay for being a grandparent, and I would not have it any other way. Sometimes the person has to be more important than the project. I'm not always good at being Mary instead of Martha. Sometimes the Martha in me creeps up quite a bit. But today I decided, you know what, let's just take our time, enjoy our granddaughter while we have her. And I'm glad I did. We had a good time today. Got to work on some crafty projects together. Not all of which turned out the way I'd hoped, but you know, that's part of the routine too, is letting go of your expected outcomes, surrendering that, and just giving yourself the chance to explore what you can do apart from those expectations. This is an interior cave scene. Hey Malachi, good to see you tonight. I hope things are going well for you. Things have certainly been interesting today. Not quite what I'd expected, but then when is life what I expect? We do the best we can with what we're handed. And if what we're handed happens to be a cross, well, we bear that. And we thank God for the ability. How's life going for you, Malachi? How's rehab? Tonight I'm just basically playing around with recreating a piece of artwork that I had done when I was much, much younger. And seeing if I can't make something of it. Right now I'm just roughing in the backdrop, if you will, and kind of getting a feel for where everything is placed. And then I'll get started on the real work. Still got that sucker burning in your right shoulder and your lower back is still killing you, but otherwise you're great. Yeah, well, I get that. I definitely empathize with that. Spent the weekend working on getting our taxes prepped for this year. Realizing just how income-wise it was a rough year. To say the least. If not for owning our own business, we wouldn't actually even have to file taxes. That's how low our income was. Hey, kitty cat. Hi, Mike. Good to see y'all. Right now, you guys are looking at a hot mess, and I recognize that it probably doesn't look like anything, and you're wondering what the heck I'm doing with this. This is actually me working on creating a background for what we're going to be working on. Ooh, no, that's too much smudge. Too much smudge. This is how I tend to start things. We're going to be working on a lava cave and some dragon hatchlings is the plan. Usually I make it interactive, and I will probably give y'all some choices at some point, but for right now I'm just blocking out what I want because I'm just in that kind of a mood where I just need to pour myself into my art and let it absorb all the emotions I've got going on right now. Things in Miller household are dicey to say the least. But I surrender it all to God, and I trust Him to lead me through it. Alright, let's get some other colors in there. We're going to use the eyedrop picker rather. And this is where I'm going to go hot red. Now this is actually a lava stream here coming out. Doesn't look like much right now, but I promise it'll look better soon. You can imagine a waterfall made of nothing but lava. It's kind of what we're going for. Maybe looking like a hot mess right now, but I promise it'll make a little more sense later. Next week, you start modifying the Fesley Super Strat style guitar that RJ's Cave is going to be sending you. Nice! Nice. Alright, let's get back to our smudging. Actually, I kind of want to play around with the watercolor. Where is it? Wet blender. Let's see what we do with this. Maybe needs to be a little bit bigger because we got more canvas to cover. That's nice. This is going to be a 4K image, 4K resolution image, so perfect for frame art TV. The snow is making it worse, but you got to contribute to shoveling snow outside the driveway and walkways of your houses and neighbors. Yep. Well, your body may not appreciate what you're doing. I'm sure your neighbors do. And even if they don't, sometimes you have to do the right thing even when nobody appreciates it. Or appreciates what it costs you to do it. It's all a question of who are you going to allow to define your character, other people or yourself. If you change your behavior because of what other people do to you, you are in essence allowing them to dictate the terms and conditions of your character. Personally, I don't like that idea. I don't want somebody else controlling my behavior. Get back to the soft. Yep, me too, Malachi. I try to be a better person today than I was yesterday. More faithful follower of Christ each and every day. That's my prayer, that's my hope, that's my effort. Some days I succeed, some days I fall flat on my face. I recognize that. Some days, though, I feel like such an abject failure at life in general. Today, it's kind of one of those middling days. I know I'm not a total failure at everything, but I do feel like I must have mucked things up pretty badly in a lot of ways. Well, nice. Yeah, that's a good idea, Malachi. Although, what I've found, not that I've experienced it directly, so, is that the people who end up actually quitting smoking as opposed to those who fail doing so is they stop desiring to smoke. They just don't want to do it anymore. And so rather than stepping down, they just quit. Is at some point in time, they just realize, I don't need this. The thing I think to ask yourself is, why do you smoke? What's motivating it? What is the need that you're trying to fill with the cigarettes that maybe you could fill in another way? Like, I quit soda July 1st. And although I've had a couple of sodas over the last 6 months or so, I really haven't wanted soda except a couple of times. Don't really miss it. But I have had some nasty addictions when I was younger. So I understand about battling addictions. Some of them just creep up on you. You don't even realize you're addicted until you're in the middle of it and you're like, what the heck did I just do that for? Letting your addiction make choices for you that you would never ordinarily make. Having to confront the fact that being Christian doesn't mean you can't form addictions. You're just as human as the rest of everybody else. That was a painful revelation. But also an important one for humility. Being part of the Guitar Mafia collaboration with everyone will take up quite a bit of me time, which will be helpful guidance. Well, that's true. That's exactly where you're at with cigarettes, because it's starting to affect your breathing and cardiovascular health. Yep. It'll have that tendency to do that. Randy's dad died of lung cancer. It was an awful way to go. And his mother had COPD in her last days, which is also an awful way to go. Just not being able to ever fully catch your breath, feeling like you're always on the verge of choking. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But I also recognize we all have our things that we get into that shouldn't, that are wrecking our health, causing us lots of pain and stress, and yet we're loath to give them up for some reason. Because whatever it is in us that thinks it's a good idea tells us we need it. Somehow it's hard to break free of that. Once you've got it embedded in you that you need this, that this is the fastest, most efficient way to meet a need, it's really hard to break free of that. Really hard to recognize, no, that really isn't the best way for me to meet that need. There are about 1 million different choices I can make that would be better. we always tell ourselves that whatever the worst case scenario is, we're doing what we're doing, it's not going to happen to us, and that we're going to somehow be immune from it, and then it happens to us, and we're like, why did it happen to me? And you're like, well, dummy, you knew it could, but you chose not to believe it would. To you, which I guess is a form of pride, really, to assume that you're somehow a special case and not going to be subject to what everybody else is subject to. Interesting. I had never thought about that. Never thought about that being a connection with pride. But yeah, I guess so. That makes absolute sense. Gets you to convince yourself that it can't happen to you, so you're not even watching for it. So many different ways that particular vice manifests in humanity. The guy that knows she's a red flag and has to date her anyway, just to be sure. I like the way this cave is starting to shape up. Looked like hot garbage just like 10-15 minutes ago, but it's now starting to look good. I was wondering if I was gonna need to scrap it and start over again. Sometimes that's what you need to do in art. You just gotta blow up the thing you're creating and start it over, because whatever it is you're working on just isn't going anywhere. But this seems to be, so that's good. Kind of in a dark mood anyway, so this is entirely appropriate from where I'm at. Mentally, emotionally, maybe even spiritually. Not quite, I don't think so, but definitely in my feels. Just feel like everything I've tried to do to make our lives better ended up somehow making it worse. Not just for me, but for people I care about. And I don't know how to fix that. Maybe it's not accurate, but it feels that way. COPD took both your grandparents and your fiance's father as well? Yeah. No, dying of emphysema is not cool. It is not the way I'd choose to go. Of course, you know, to be honest, there's not a lot of ways I'd like to die. I mean, yeah, peacefully sounds good, but what if you don't get the chance to say goodbye to the people you love? I definitely don't want to die like my father did. He was locked in a room with no food and water by his fourth wife. I guess caring for him just got to be too much, and she snapped or whatever. I don't know. Personally, I think she was possessed, but. And I've never said that about anybody, really. Never seen evidence for it, but this woman just at the funeral was. Yeah, something else. You smoked since you were a junior in high school? Yeah, like my brother. He quit smoking eventually, but it took him decades. Trying to carve out the rock appearance of the cave formation so that the background looks as natural as possible. I mean, eerie as heck, but natural, and like you could be literally standing in that room and buy into it. Well, it's not a river of blood. It's more like a river of lava, but yeah, you're it's definitely a river. Although, your eyes see what they see, so Broke but bountifully blessed? No, it's not a silent live. I was just, we didn't have much going on to talk. You are more than welcome to chat. I do like to talk to the people who come into my stream. How are things going with you tonight? Good to see you. Hope things are well. And if not, we can always fix that. At the very least, I can offer prayers, consolations, some advice, occasional correct things. Bountifully blessed. Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad you saw it on the list. And I'm glad you decided to stop by. I'm happy to have you. Right now, this is a cave scene that I'm working on for a background for a painting that I am recreating that I did in my 20s. Actually, it was a pencil drawing at the time. I want to turn it into a painting, and this is going to be a 4K resolution. Just to explain what's going on. What I use is Photoshop. So the tools that I'm using right now is the smudge tool. It is one of my favorite. It does a great job of blending things, moving the paint around the canvas. That's what I tend to use a lot of once I lay the paint down, to get it to behave a little more like oil on canvas. Thank you. Appreciate you adding it to my to your list. What the words? I have words. Occasionally they form in my mouth. Occasionally I manage to get them out of my mouth and into the world. This is an amazing thing. Tell me a little bit about your channel. What you got going on, Miss Bountiful? Bountifully blessed, I should say. If you happen to be broke but bountifully blessed, I promise you are in the right place. Sort of a backdrop, like I said, for the dragons that will eventually be added. I don't do a lot of mythical fantasy scenes necessarily, but tonight I did feel like it. Gonna add a little more of the red, dark red. Yeah, oh gosh, I forgot about the castle, Malachi. Thank you for reminding me. No, no, it's completely unrelated because I couldn't remember what we were working on last week, and so I punted and just decided to work on this instead. Thank you so much. I am glad you reminded me what we were handling last week because I had totally forgotten. Ugh, that's where my mental state is right now. It's just like everything is scattered and I just can't seem to really put things together where I'd like them to be anyway. Ugh. things have just been hard over the last few weeks. It's a lot of different directions, and that's one of the reasons why I popped this open too, is I was like grateful for the opportunity to pour out what I was feeling onto the page in a manner of speaking. And among good company. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I really appreciate your support too. Like having people stop by and chat, even if they do just a little, that's always meaningful to me. It's always something I appreciate. Makes the world feel just a little less lonesome. Thank you for reminding me, Malachi, that we had been working on that castle. I'll have to pull that back up. I may just finish up this background and then we pull the castle up and try to work our way through what I was working on last week and put myself back in the mindset. I forgot I gotta give this dragon enough landing area. Can't just have rocks everywhere. She's gotta have a place to stand. Cause she's gonna be landing and looking over her babies, which are in the center of the pool. Gotta have a nice warm place for babies to incubate. Hence the lava flows. If you were a dragon mama, you'd want to get it as hot as you could. There we go. That gives her a platform to stand on. Without destroying too much of the lava flow. Perfect. Eh. We've lost our blendability. There we go. Maybe I should put on some music while I work. At least the lower version of it.
Want you to walk away.
But maybe it doesn't play. Oh well. If it doesn't, it's okay. I'm not as tech enabled as my husband is. There are some areas where I have a medium level of competency, but there are some levels where I'm just like totally useless. Right. Getting those blocked in, getting them colored appropriately. Do you connect on Tuber Chat for the source to grow your channel? I actually didn't know about Tuber Chat, so I guess the answer to that question is no. Tell me more. So far, what I've been doing is running shorts to introduce people to me, and then 3 times a week I do live chats and stuff. I do writing and chatting on Saturdays, and then real talk on Thursdays, and this art stream Mondays before my husband's stream. I'm always open to learning new ways, though. Always. Your channel is about saving money and helping other channels. That's wonderful. Well, my channel is kind of evolving, but right now the evolution that it's undergoing is I'm becoming a creative arts retreat and rehabilitation center where basically any creative individual or somebody who just wants to improve their life, their mindset, their skills, whatever, just find a place to relax, be themselves, and explore creativity in a welcoming and environment and setting where, you know, it doesn't really cost you to participate. That's my goal. It started out this year or last year, with a dream of building a $22 million physical retreat and rehabilitation center, but my big obstacle was that I didn't have the finances for it, and God sort of, clubbed me over the head a week ago, I guess, or 2 weeks ago, and pointed out, hey, you have a YouTube channel, and it costs you nothing to run it, and you could actually use that. just put the content you were going to give people at your retreat center on your channel, and wouldn't you know it, now you have what you want. So that's kind of what I'm working on, is converting. Not that I'm going to take away the content I already do, but to add to what I do, the more geared toward helping people content. I think I was posting some of that last year, but then I got discouraged when I didn't have much traffic because I didn't know really how to go about marketing myself, and so it didn't work very well. But I've since developed strategies that I think will make it work. People on Tuber Chat and the Source watch each other's channels. That's cool. I'll have to check into that. Kind of involved in some of those things similarly, like Okies Eden and Fairbrook Studios have both tend to lift other channels up and to encourage us to lift each other up, which is something I was already wanting to do. I guess it just gives me the added incentive to be more proactive about seeking out smaller creators and things that I can, and people who I could co-promote. Not because, not a trade for trade, but because I genuinely believe in the kind of content they're creating. And Malachi is one of my husband's guitar community members and a good friend. That's the kind of thing I like to develop, is not just, well, I like to develop friendships. I like to get to know the people who come and make them feel at home and genuinely care about who they are and what's going on in their lives. My husband does a much better job of that than I do. To be honest, connection is one area of my life where I struggle. I can get connections started, but I struggle maintaining them. It's because I tend to be very project and purpose driven, and then I end up failing to prioritize relationships the way I should, and that causes problems. But it's something I'm working on improving. Ah, yes. Well, thank you. I try to be. I very definitely want people to feel welcomed when they come. I want them to feel like their life matters, like they matter. Because in our world, people often don't feel that way. And I never want them to come to my channel and walk away feeling like I didn't care. Like they could have just showed up anywhere, and it would have made no difference to me. But I don't want people to feel like that ever. It's one of I sincerely desire for every person I come across to feel like they matter. Not just another number or cog in a machine, but really and truly make a difference. You watched Oki's Eden since it was half this size? Yeah, he's really nice. Some point in time. He's a great guy. And the way he just takes care of the people around him. I think that's the true hallmark of leadership, is how much do you take care of the people around you, or are you even interested in the people around you? Now, I'm not going to say that I'm always a great leader, because I know that that's actually something, a quality that I really need to work on, being better about how I lead, how I show up, what I do, what I say. I work on improving that every single day. I'm miles better than I was when I was in my 20s. Still got a lot of work to do, though. You have 3 channels, you run playlists onto them? Nice. Yeah, I've been thinking about experimenting with a marketing strategy whereby I take some of my more, because this channel is diversified, right? It doesn't cover just one thing. That makes it harder for YouTube to figure out your niche and to get the right audience to you. So I've been thinking about testing out a strategy whereby I develop a couple of different highly specialized channels, and then grow that traffic and use that traffic, funnel that traffic over here when it has something relevant for them. I don't know if that strategy will work. I don't know if it'll exhaust me, and maybe it's not even the right time to try it, because right now my life is in such flux, I'm not sure I can commit to it. But that's what I've been thinking about trying. Is that something I've always struggled with, is having things stable enough to feel confident enough to make commitments. I hate to disappoint people. I hate to make commitments I can't live up to. Yeah, you're working on inching down too. Yeah, it's one of the things that YouTube loves is the highly specialized channel that focuses on one thing, really. And that's because it's easier for the algorithm to go play fetch and figure out who the channel should be directed toward. And when you're a multi-talented individual like I am, who doesn't really like to focus on one thing, that makes it tough for YouTube algorithm to figure out who I'm supposed to be put in front of. I don't fit neatly into their boxes. And so it makes my channel growth slow. I develop more loyal following, so slow isn't always bad, but at the same time, it makes it harder in general. Which is what led me to think of maybe the idea is to create some niche content for different channels and plug those in, build those audiences, and then plug them back into this channel with the cross-pollination content so that they get contact with this community. Yeah, I schedule my lives only because it's a way of forcing myself to commit to being somewhere. Because otherwise, I will just use all the excuses in the book not to be there. And then you never build your channel's reputation, and people don't know when to expect you or what to expect from you. And so that creates whole different messes. So at least I can commit to the 3 times a week, basically. Hold on just a moment. I apologize. I forgot to turn my phone on silent. Oh. My little sister. Ooh, a Bible series. Sorry, it's my little sister that was calling, so I'm just telling her I'll be with her in 15. What passages are you covering in your Bible series? Actually, it's funny. At the top of 2025, I thought of doing this Bible con, right? A Bible convention where people could do role playing and cosplay and just have a good old time around the Bible. You know, something that was low pressure, would allow people who weren't Christian, you know, if people of all faith and none could participate and find something in it. And I realized that's another thing I can do with my YouTube channel. I don't have to get a building. I don't have to get a ground. I don't have to, I really don't have to do much of anything except organize it and throw it up there and let people enjoy it, participate in it. Your downstairs neighbors are screaming and swearing at each other right now. Oof. Claude Sonnet to write a summary of 3 chapters. What book? Yeah, I was thinking, you know, I may put out a post about that, like, because I would love to have people working on composing music around books of the Bible and working on doing skits and just fun stuff, you know, making costumes, discussing the history and the literature of the days and the context for those places and spaces in the Bible that we think we know until we put ourselves in the scene. And then it wouldn't take anybody sponsoring me, and I wouldn't have to charge ticket money, and I wouldn't have to do all the crapola that you normally do with live events. And we could just enjoy ourselves and have a good old time. And invite in people who might be interested in exploring the Bible if it were a low pressure, low key situation where they didn't have to commit to believing in it. They could just learn more about its history, learn more about its fashion, learn more about its music and musical influences and literature and all the stuff around it and the characters. You know, I just think sometimes I think the reason that people don't explore the Bible is it is such a high pressure situation. Everybody wants them to commit to believing. Well, I don't demand that of anybody. You don't have to believe it to enjoy it. You don't have to believe it to benefit from it. There's a rich texture of stuff in the Bible. I think more people might explore it if they didn't feel like they had to commit to believing in it right away. No pressure. No sales call afterward. Reading the Bible is overwhelming for you. You know what has helped a lot for me? First of all, I love reading, so reading anything isn't really that big a deal for me. But one of the things that I know helps is me going through Father Mike Schmidt's Bible in a year. And, you know, it's usually just 3 or 4 books of the Bible at a time. And, or no, 2 books of the Bible at a time, plus some of the Proverbs. And so you get a couple of chapters a day, plus some explanation as to what's going on and what the context historically is for what's happening in it. And just the opportunity to be present with it without feeling the need to have to go all in and read the whole thing all by yourself all at once. So he goes over the whole thing in a whole year, which is a nice low-key way of getting into it. Well, I'd claim to be a Christian around 45 years, but here's the truth of the matter is, I grew up culturally Catholic, but I didn't really understand or know my faith not until I was into my adulthood and had left it and came back. And I only came back because I was trying to show my son, who was at the time 7, 8 years old, that I cared about what he cared about. And he had been begging me for months to go to this little Catholic group that my mother went to on Friday nights. And I had not wanted to go. I didn't have any interest in going. I thought I knew what the Catholic Church was, and I didn't need to have anything to do with that. I wasn't interested in rules, regulations, and all the control, which is what I thought it was. And so I started attending that group for my son, and all the answers that I've been looking for as to why the church did what she did, taught what she taught, recommended what she recommended, suddenly they were offering those to me, and the answers made sense. And so, to my surprise, I ended up right back in the Catholic Church I'd left at age 16, and have been walking with Christ on and off, not well, not always as faithfully as I'd like to, but have been walking with him since. And I take a lot of time to try and really get to understand Scripture. Try and really get to... I like to go beyond what's in the Bible to try and understand what the context is for what they're saying, what the Jewish perspective is, what the early church fathers had to say about it, just to kind of get a complete picture of what's really going on. Because there's so much in the Bible that can be easily misunderstood and misinterpreted. Yeah. Yes, he did. He pursued me and would not let me go. And I'm grateful. He saved my life. He saved my son's life. He saved my husband's life. He is a good and awesome God, and so faithful to his promises. I wish I were as faithful to him as he is to me. But I strive to be more faithful every day. All right, we are ready. If this little ring area that you're seeing here, that is where those dragon eggs are going. Because this is a scene of dragon hatching. You can imagine that this is a dragon hatching ground. That is what's going in that circle pit. But it is time for me to pause the stream for tonight. Yeah, absolutely. Have a great stream too. Let's see. Wait, I forgot to do something. And I definitely appreciate you being here. I'm going to give you a moderator permission so you can pop a link into your channel if you choose. Malachi, if you've got anything you want to promote, go ahead and pop that in before the stream closes. Guys, it has been wonderful having you here with me. I look forward to getting to know you better, Brooke. I keep wanting to say Brooke, and it's Broke. I hope to see you back. And I'll be checking out your stream not too long from now. If you are still in the mood for enjoying things, my husband, the Ubi, has a live stream starting in 15 minutes. So I will pop his link into the chat. You too. Have a very blessed tomorrow. I need to pin that. All right. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you being here with me on my art journey. I didn't get as far as I wanted. Whew. Lord have mercy. I must be tired. All right. We didn't get as far as we wanted. We did put the background in place. We will get started. Next week, we'll have to decide whether we work on the castle image that we were doing the week before, or return to the dragons. Let me go into my channel. There we go. Art. Drawing. Chilling. Should pop myself into this. I know better. New folder. Dragon. Hatching. Recreation. And this is our cave background. All right, y'all. Have a fantastic... It's the Ubi. That's it pinned at the top there. And if you guys can make it, that's great. And if you can't, hopefully I'll see you around. I'm going to call that a stream. It has been nice talking with you. So glad to have been here with you.